The Architecture of Ape Intelligence.
Yeah, and that title, it's really fitting.
It really is. Because reading through this, it felt less like I was studying zoology and more like, looking at a slightly distorted reflection of us.
That's the whole point, I think. We're
Yeah.
talking about that 98.8% DNA overlap between us and, say, chimps, but it's not just a number. It's a blueprint for something incredibly familiar.
It is, though. That last 1.2% is doing some heavy lifting, for sure. But the line blurs so fast when you look at the physical stuff. We know about the basics, like no tails and walking more upright. But it was the opposable everything that really stood out to me. Opposable big toes.
Which basically gives them four hands. It completely changes the physics of how they move and what they can do.
And you get this incredible dexterity on one hand, but then it's paired with just terrifying raw power.
The stats are humbling, aren't they?
They really are. A silverback gorilla can supposedly lift nearly 1,800 pounds.
That's a small car.
It's a small car. And a bite force that's stronger than a great white shark or a lion. It just puts our own fragility into perspective.
It really does.
Yep.
But as impressive as the muscle is, the real mirror this research talks about is in the mind.
Exactly. Let's get into the tools, because I think a lot of people know apes use tools, but the sources here emphasize they engineer them. There's a difference.
A huge difference. They aren't just finding a stick, they're modifying it.
Like the chimpanzees stripping branches down to make these very specific termite fishing probes.
Or orangutans using leaves as a megaphone to make their calls lighter. That's not instinct. That shows an understanding of acoustics.
Wow. And this all kind of builds towards the big one, right? The mirror test.
Yeah, the classic test for self-awareness. An animal looks in a mirror, and instead of attacking what it thinks is another animal, it realizes,
That's me.
exactly, that's me. But think about the implication of that. If your brain has the hardware to recognize me, it can then start to simulate you,
You can understand that other beings have their own minds.
which is the foundation for everything complex, for empathy, for deception, and especially for politics.
And the politics section here was just wild. You have two sister species, chimps and bonobos, living practically next to each other with completely opposite political
And
systems.
the perfect case study, the chimps are like pure Machiavelli.
Right. It's not just about being the strongest. It's about building coalitions, grooming the right allies. It's calculated.
A total drama of alliances. Then you look at the bonobos, and it's this matriarchal, more egalitarian society where conflict gets resolved through, well,
Through affection and sharing.
exactly. They use social bonding to diffuse tension. It really challenges this idea that our shared primate nature has to be inherently violent. We have both of those potentials in us.
That flexibility even shows up in their language. I mean, Coco and Washoe learning sign language is famous, but the detail that got me was Washoe telling lies.
To lie, you have to know what someone else knows and then actively give them false information.
That's such a huge cognitive leap.
It is. And it shows that their culture isn't just a buzzword either.
Yeah.
This knowledge, like how to crack open a specific type of nut with a specific rock.
It's taught. It's education.
Yes, passed down from one generation to the next, not just instinct. And you see it in their private lives, too. I was fascinated by the nests.
Oh, me too. They build a fresh bed every single night, and sometimes with pillows.
And they have their own little pharmacies. When they feel sick, they'll seek out these really bitter plants with antibacterial properties that they wouldn't normally eat.
That shows such an incredible level of awareness.
It really forces you to break down these barriers we put up. When you see them doing politics, practicing medicine, building comfortable beds, it stops looking like animal behavior.
It makes you see a trip to the zoo very differently.
Absolutely. You're not just watching a different species, you're watching a different iteration of the same operating system.
And I think that's a perfect thought to leave everyone with. If apes have culture and medicine and self-awareness, are we really looking at animals in that classic sense? Or are we maybe just looking at a slightly different version of ourselves?